Welcome to the volumes edition of AGT-Topo. With this version of the software, you can calculate volume, including cut and fill for spoil piles, borrow pits, and other earthwork projects. The process begins by creating two surfaces, one for the natural ground and the second one for finished ground. These are then combined and compared to create a third surface that provides the cut and fill. This surface here will be our natural ground surface, and it of course is made up of shots that were taken before any grading was done. Next, I'm going to create a second surface, and this will be for a gravel road that was placed here. I have the shots already in the drawing on a hidden layer, so I'll unhide that, and I'm going to turn the surface triangles off to make this a little easier to see. There. So now I'm going to start the command to create our second surface. I'll select our points, give it a name, and there it is. Let me change the color real quickly. So here you can see the road, but the triangulation down here is not part of the project. So I'm going to create a custom boundary so that this surface is limited only to the parts that are relevant to the project. To do this, I'll draw it out with the tract command. Now I'm going to thicken up my line type so you can see it a little easier, and I'll make it a different color. So I'll start the tract command and then start drawing my boundary . Next, I need to attach it to the surface. And now the surface is constrained to that boundary. So to recap our progress so far, we now have two surfaces. The first one is of the original natural ground and is currently turned off or hidden. The second surface is this one, which represents the road after it's been excavated or finished ground. We're now ready to do the volume calculations. We will do this by creating a special kind of surface called a volume surface. Instead of using XYZ points, this surface will be created by comparing the prismoidal differences between our two surfaces. So I'll start the command, then give our new surface a name, and here we'll enter the two surfaces that we want to compare, natural ground and finished ground. And there it is. I'm going to turn those points back off to make this easier to see. So let's take a look at the results. I'll open up the cut and fill report. In here we have the total cut and the total fill along with the overall volume. If desired, we can apply a shrink or fill factor, and those would be shown right here. Now let's turn on the real-time elevation tracking for this surface. I'll select the surface, the volume surface, and now down here in the bottom left corner, our cut and fill will be displayed as the mouse passes over the surface. Suppose I want to label the cut or fill. To do that, I'll select the spot elevation command, select the surface that I want to do spot elevations for, and place the labels where they're needed. And in this case, they're not elevations. They are actually cut and fill. So to recap, we've created two surfaces, one for natural ground and one for finished ground. Next, we created a third surface called a volume surface, and it was created by comparing the differences between our natural and finished ground surfaces. From there, we can see the overall cut and fill as well as label individual cut and fill locations.